Welcome back to OpenLine. We hope that your new year is off to a roaring start, and whatever your goal in mind this year, that you're getting after it, but also give yourself a little break. And that's why we have Diane Dameron here with us tonight, talking about health and fitness and nutrition and how to incorporate it all and have success in the new year. But we promised we'd get to phone calls, and I have Jay on the line. Jay, thanks for hanging with us. What's your question?
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I always enjoy it when she's on. She's got great tips. But my goal was to lose 25 pounds, and I've already lost about 8 already since the new year. But I just wondered what her thoughts were on all-natural peanut butter. I know I've quit eating lunches during the day, and I pretty much snack, like eat my nuts and celery and peanut butter and all that. What does she think about all-natural peanut butter? And also, I love mushrooms, and I wondered how I can saute mushrooms without all the salt. And I'll just hang up and listen. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jay. Good job on losing 8 pounds so far in 17 days. That's pretty incredible.
That's really good. And just stay on track. Chances are, when you're going to lose weight, your first few come off pretty easily. So keep it up, and great job. I am a big fan of any type of nut butters, and I always try to get natural as much as possible, low salt, low sugar. You just want to look, whatever nut butter you get. I like peanut butter, first of all, for the price. It's going to be the cheapest that you can go. Almond butter is also awesome. It's a really good one. But you can also get cashew butter and all kinds of different butters. And you just want to turn the label over and look for the ingredients, and you just don't want more than a few ingredients. If you can't pronounce what's in it, don't get it. Yeah. And sometimes the one thing about the natural nut butters is sometimes you have to stir them up a little bit. They'll kind of get a little oily on top, which is fine. You just want to stir it. And one thing that you can do, some people will store the jar upside down and then turn it back over. But I think that's great. You just want to limit, just like nuts, you want to limit your daily intake to about probably nuts total for the day, 2 to 3 tablespoons. 2 probably is good, kind of depending on your weight and your activity level. But and it's just like olive oils and things like that. It's fat, but it's good, healthy fat. You just don't want to go overboard on it.
And it's easy when you're just especially eating right out of the jar, and you're like, oh, I just ate half the jar.
And I encourage people to buy nuts in bulk, keep them in the freezer, but portion them out individually. So you've got you can do the little snack baggies. Or I say, if let's say you're at the office and you've just got like a jar of them, put whatever can fit in your palm, and that's about what you want.
Okay, and you don't get to go re-pour. Just stick with that one.
The nut butters is about 2 tablespoons would be about the size of like a golf ball. So if you want to half that, like have one in the morning and one in the afternoon, just like kind of half of a golf ball.
Gotcha. Okay. Charlie's on the line. Charlie, how you doing tonight? What's your question?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me all right?
Sure can. Yes.
I'm over here in Hickman County. We don't have a whole lot of service.
Okay. Go ahead. We got you loud and clear.
I had 2 questions.
Okay.
About the fitness and then kind of health. I've had 3 heart attacks.
Ooh.
And I used to drive over the road, and the truck stopped food and whatnot. It didn't really care to me too much. But about the nut butters, I ain't never seen none of that.
They have them in Kroger. A lot of times it's not necessarily by the peanut butter. Sometimes you have to go to like the natural food aisle and look for the almond butter. Like I said, it is a little bit more expensive. Sometimes I will buy, like, for every maybe 3 to 4 jars of.
Reckon IGA would have it?
They should ask if they don't. They should certainly have almond butter. Even Jif, I think, has an almond butter available.
Maybe a couple of years ago it wasn't that widespread, but now it's pretty common. So if you don't see it, just ask it. Maybe you're missing it on one of the random aisles.
Yeah.
Well, the other question I had for you about the fitness is how often should I be running, especially having the heart attack?
Right. I don't necessarily think everybody is a runner.
Yes.
People will ask me what's the best exercise I can do or how often.
Because I have had one knee replaced, and that's why I was going to ask.
That's
see
right.
what you said. And
everybody's body is completely different.
That's going to be my excuse, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
I don't like running, but
And I completely agree. I personally am a runner. However, I'm kind of seasonal. Right now, I've got my bike up on a trainer in my living room. People come over and I just say, just ignore the bike in the middle of the living room.
Like a runner.
I think any exercise that you do that will get your heart rate up is the one for you. So if you can walk, I think walking is great. If you can ride a bike, swimming is really, really good, especially if you've had knee replacement or any type of joint problems, because it's very low impact. I had foot surgery, and that was my workout, was swimming. And honestly, weight training, using your body. I brought a couple of pictures if we can show them. And
Can I ask another question?
Sure.
About the swimming?
Sure.
We used to swim all the time over here. We got a little lake behind the house here. It's a little runoff. It's more like a pond. It's a bad story, and it relates to fitness, health, and everything, really. Mm-hmm. My cousin farms on the ground up the hill there. His fertilizer ran off in this lake. Well, my other cousin ingested some of it, and he ain't been right since, let me tell you.
Well, I think swimming, anytime you can find a pool,
Sure.
Like whether it's going to the rec center, going to a gym. I was lucky enough to have a neighborhood pool where I could go down to the clubhouse and swim. So, but sometimes it doesn't, like I'm a sweater. I like to sweat when I work out.
Exactly.
And swimming, you don't feel the sweat, but it's a really, really good workout, and you really can.
And for the whole body,
right?
Your whole body's engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't think you necessarily have to go to a gym, or you don't have to have workout equipment. I think, and sometimes when you first get started, it can be super intimidating to walk into a gym, and especially if you're either overweight or you don't know how to use something. I think pick fit, and again, it doesn't have to be an hour here and an hour,
Sure.
an hour every day. Pick 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes in the afternoon. Maybe walk instead of sitting at a restaurant for lunch or sitting at your desk. Get up and walk around the block, and just get out and do something. But I've got some exercises that I've put together.
Let's see if we can put those,
for in-home.
do those pictures again. There we go.
There we go.
There's Diane at her finest.
This is just in the middle of my living room, and the big one on the left is just a front plank, and this is good for everybody. I don't recommend sit-ups or crunches for anybody because it's very hard on the back, and it only works a small percentage of your muscles. So think about like a corset, and doing the plank where you're just up on your elbows and your toes, and you hold it for as long as you can. If that's 5 seconds or if it's 55 seconds, however long it is that you can hold it. And that's very good for the back and for your stomach and your obliques and everything. The top ones are just doing lunges, where you're just kind of, and that works your rear end and your legs and even your calves. And then the bottom right is doing push-ups. And now I've got my coffee table pushed up against my couch, so you can just see
Sure.
it's elevated, and that's easier. Now if you wanted to go all the way down where your hands are on the floor, that's even a little bit harder. So and even if the coffee table is too low, you could do it from a countertop, depending on your level of fitness. The lower you go, the harder it makes it.
Sure.
If you're super impressive, you could even put your feet up on the coffee table and your hands down below, and so that you kind of step up or down.
And I heard a good tip before. Maybe if you're watching a TV show during the commercial breaks, get up and do something. So you probably have about 2.5, 3 minutes to be active, whether it's running in place or planking, or doing some push-ups.
And kind of along those lines, now everybody's got most everybody has DVR.
Yes.
So what I say is DVR all your shows, and that should free up, let's say you watch a few shows in a day or on a weekend if you're catching up. If you DVR it, that gives you at least, within an hour, about 15 minutes of free time. So DVR everything, take those few 15 minutes and work out for 30 minutes.
Do jumping jacks during the commercial breaks or knee ups or something. Get that heart rate up and get moving and work your way into it. But Charlie, good luck to you. I hope you stay heart healthy. And again, we are taking your phone calls if you have health or nutrition questions. Also, if you want some food swap ideas, we've already answered one of those. Diane's got some great suggestions, and we're going to be getting into more of that. So more calls coming up, and of course, stay with us. Open Line is next.